Sometimes a digital camera shot just doesn't do the color justice that you saw. I do have a JPEG that's already been corrected and then a backup of the camera raw, but we're going to take a look at hue, saturation, and luminance to pull out the color that you envisioned when you captured the photo. I'll double click to begin work on this and make my corrections. It's already looking a lot better. So far, before and after. But I know I can go farther with this green. I'll protect a little bit more of the highlights. I could boost the vibrance, and that helps, but I'm getting too much yellow here when really I saw a truly green door. If I hit HSL or grayscale, it's hue, saturation, and luminance. Hue is the overall color, and where I have greens, I can move them more towards a bluish green or over towards the yellowish green. This was a more blue-green. If some of these I still feel look a little yellowish, I could take what Camera Raw sees as yellow and slide it towards the green. And I want to richen up the green overall, so you could try saturation, but I find that tends to go fake very fast. So sometimes just darkening the luminance. If I slide greens down, I really get that extra punch I wanted. And maybe even some of the yellows too. You could see that's really impacting the lock there. In fact, I'll lighten that up because it makes it look more golden. So here we have it. Before, after. And I'll come back and just adjust the hue. Some of the greens might fall in the blue spectrum, and you'll notice with the blues, the silver in the doorway is starting to pick up a little bit of blue. I'll go farther right with that, and it helps preserve the original silver. All right, let's hit done. I'll come back to bridge. Here is the JPEG correction, automatically done by the camera. Here is the uncorrected camera raw, and here's what I got out of it with just a few moments using HSL. Let's try this on a different kind of shot. This shot, again, I have the JPEG, the NEF, and let me show you how I back this up so you guys can make your own copies. I right-click on it and choose Duplicate, and it will duplicate both the JPEG and the camera raw, but I'll just right-click on the JPEG and move it to the trash. I only need one original of the JPEG. And then I change this name to Original and add Begin to this one. For most of your images, you normally won't need to do that. This is just for illustration purposes. Oh, and I already had it called Begin. So there's a Begin JPEG and a Begin Camera Raw. We're going to edit the Camera Raw. I will double-click it, adjust the image overall, and I find that clarity really helps this a lot, and blacks. And if you open up the shadows, you can even see me taking the picture in that shot. But it really just draws the eye there. I need to protect a little bit of the highlights because they are delicate. The sun is shining pretty bright. I could add some contrast. And so far, before, after. But now I want to fine-tune the blues in the shirt. So if I go back to HSL, I can take the blues and move them more towards a cyan blue, but this was a truer blue. Also, some of the blues may pick up in the purple, so I could move that one direction or the other to really get rid of some of that red cast in the blue shirt. I could go to saturation, darken the blues a bit more, and that's more what I wanted, that really rich, bright blue. And then in luminance, I'll darken the blues. There we go. And when I finish that, I can come back and probably lighten the exposure a little bit more now that I've protected my blues. Just watch the highlights to make sure they're not moving too far. Before, after. It's like it was taken with a different camera. The split screens are fun on this too. Before and after, a far better shot. Before and after, where you see just a split down the skin tones. And this is letting me know that I might have gone a little bit too far with either clarity, or I might not have protected my whites or highlights, because I could see here I want to preserve some of the skin tone. Before, after, and then split screen top to bottom, before, after. And I will hit done. And when I come back, here are my versions: the JPEG correction, the unretouched camera raw, and a really boosted, beautiful blue with HSL, hue, saturation, and luminance in camera raw.